2005, you get stopped by the police because you were driving erratically, and then you drove off.
Yeah. Yep.
So tell me about this whole situation.
So living in Harbor Island, which in Tampa is like downtown Tampa, and it's a gated community. We have our own security gate in there. And my sister, stepmom, was having a party in St. Pete, and it's like 2 a.m. So I decided, okay, he kept calling me, you coming? So I said, okay, I'll go. And remind you, and again, I'm not justifying anything, when I was incarcerated, the warden told me, be careful, the cops still want you in Tampa. So we have our own security, but when I pull out the gate, TPD, Tampa Police Department, the cop sitting right there. Something's telling me to go back in the gate. And I said, no, I'm going to this party. And so I pull out, he pulls right behind me, and I'm thinking, normally I take the freeway to go, but I'm going to take the bike roads. And he's following me. I get to an area where it's very dark. Very dark. And so he throw the lights on me, pull me over, I pull over. Comes up to me, same thing. Mr. Gooden, where you going? So I'm going to my sister's party. This time of night, yes. This your car? I said, yeah, I'm sure you ran the plate. So probably shouldn't have been talking the way I was talking, but it just like, get fed up with all this stuff. So he said, let me see your license registration.
And this is Tampa once again, by the way.
Tampa again. And Tampa's the only problem, I mean, besides New Jersey I did in 2019, the only problem I've had problems with the cops. Give my license registration, he goes back to his car. Then he comes back, he asks me all these questions. This your car and stuff. But I think at that time he's trying to figure out if I'm speech, if I'm slurring or whatever. But honestly, I was fine at the time. I hadn't been doing anything. So yeah, he said, okay, I'll get you out here in a moment. Goes back to his car again. So now you got all these cop cars are coming in. All of them are coming in. And like, if I'm parked here, the cop car's behind me, but all these cops, once they park, they're standing between my car and his car talking. And I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. I mean, it's dark, I'm by myself. So they come back to the car. He goes, I need you to step out of the car. I'll say, for what? You know I'm fine. Then he goes, get out of the fucking car. At that moment, I just stopped. I said, fuck you, and I took off. But my reason for taking off, and I'm not making this up, was because, I mean, I've been beat up before. I've been stopped many times. What happened to my mom. There was no way on that dark road I was getting out of that car. I don't know what was going to happen. And I even had the judge, should be on record, tell me when I went to court for that. He goes, I'm glad you turned yourself in because if they had found you, I don't know if you'd be here. The judge said that. But still today, if I'm back in that situation, I'm not getting out of my car. Not in Tampa. Here, yes. Not in Tampa.
Okay. So you drive off when the police are essentially trying to arrest you or questioning you. For 3 days, you go on the run.
Yes.
You don't turn yourself in. But before then, you and your girlfriend at the time, Monique, have a domestic situation.
Yes.
She hits you, and I guess you throw a phone at her, and then she calls the cops.
She threw the phone.
What's that?
She threw the phone.
Yeah, she threw the phone.
Yeah.
Right, got it. She threw the phone at you. She calls the cops. You get arrested.
Yes.
Misdemeanor battery charge. But while you're on the run, you were supposed to take a mandatory 1-hour class on domestic violence in order to dismiss all those charges. And you don't show up to the class because you're on the run, technically.
Okay, you're probably right.
And is it because of that essentially that's where the jail thing came in?
Oh, no. So what happened was, the thing with Monique, what happened, I mean, I'm walking out of the room, she throws the phone in the back of the head, so I hit her, which I don't agree with hitting a woman. But temporarily, I snapped. I was again hit in the back of the head with the phone, I hit her. Called the cops, and I let the cops in the gate. They couldn't get in the gate. I let them in, got arrested. Spent the weekend in jail, get out. And then it was like maybe a couple weeks later, that's when the cops thing, I ran from the cops. And for 3 days, I was scared about what they might do if I ended up turning myself in. But what happened with the, when I got incarcerated to jail was I went back to treatment after that, after the Monique thing. I went back to treatment. After treatment, I had relapse, and I was going back to treatment, and I told, which I didn't have to, but again, I don't know the law or whatever, so I called my probation officer, told her I was going back to treatment. She said, come by here first. I said, well, I'm going back to treatment. She said, no, I just need you to come by the office first. So I go by the office, said, I need you to give me some urine. I said, well, it's dirty because I relapsed. She said, I need the urine for my records. Give her the urine. It's dirty. Put your hands behind your back. Put my hands behind my back. Now I go to arrest me. So I got to go before the judge. The judge, I got to go before. He's on vacation. So now I'm 10 days in the county jail. Now I'm going to court with him. They offered me, I was on probation for 3 years. They offered me 5 years probation. I said 3. The attorney that I had was just a family friend, and this on record, he told me, he goes, take the year and a day, and you just go back to treatment, and everything will be wiped out. And I don't know the law, so I said, I'll take the year and a day. And the judge said, are you sure you want the year and a day? I said, yes, year and a day. So they take me back to my cell, and there's a county cop there that I had when in high school. He came up to me and goes, why would you take a year and a day instead of probation? I said, well, I'm going to treatment. He said, no, you're going to prison. He said, I got you in this book. Tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, you're going to prison. And I'm like, wow. I said, well, my attorney told me, he goes, it doesn't matter. I said, can I talk to her? He said, no, it's done. You're going to prison. So by me taking a year and a day, not knowing the law, by my attorney's advice, I ended up doing 10 and a half months in Gainesville Correctional Center, where I could have took the probation. So,
Okay, so now you're locked up. In state prison?
Yeah. Yep. Gainesville. Yeah, it's horrible.
Gainesville State Prison. You're Doc Gooden.
Oh, man. Yeah.
The World Series champion.
Yeah.
Are you treated well, or do some dudes try to test you a little bit?
At the beginning, it was a test. It was a test because, not to call him out, but Strawberry was in that same facility like the year before me, right? But Daryl is more like, Daryl don't take no shit for nobody. So I guess he had a couple fights in there. So they thought when I came there, it's going to be like the same type of thing. But I was already pre-warned. I guess this guy that was in jail when I went back there before he took me, kind of telling me, don't play softball. These things you don't do. These things you do. These things to be aware of. So I was kind of prepped before I went there. So, I just like talked. Like one guy told me, the only time I was tested was when I got my food. He asked me, what are we eating? And at that time, you got to kind of defend yourself, because if you don't, it's going to happen every day. But after like maybe the first month, they just treated me normal. I mean, it's fine. But worst time of my life, one of the worst times of my life.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed Daryl Strawberry about his experience. He said dudes tried to test him, and he had to show him that he's still Daryl Strawberry.
Yes.
See,
Daryl loves that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I first went, I wasn't scared, but I thought, I don't know that about jail, prison, but I guess it's different levels. Like you got, maximum security, all this stuff.
You're not in there with the murderers.
No, you're not in there with the murderers, but the problem is some of the murderers that are on their way out are coming through there. So that's where it's risk. And then if it's one-on-one, it's different, but they're going to be like 5 or 6 guys. So at the time before I got in there, I didn't know all the stuff you only know about prison. So I thought going in there, I'd probably never make it out. I'm probably going to die in prison because somebody's going to try to rape me, or somebody's going to fight me. Something's going to happen. But, but on a good note, if I say I had to take one good thing while I was there, was I got to replay my whole life over. And I was able to somewhat come to grips with missing the parade. Some grips are coming with my career when everybody said you should be in the Hall of Fame, all this stuff. And I'm like, no. I did everything that I wanted to do and more as a player, as a kid. So, but by going in there, I got to relive all, because you got this time to relive that.
Yeah.
But so I was able to do that. That was the only good thing that came out of that for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on this. That same year, you were on the 2006 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot.
Yeah.
But you only got 3.3% of the votes. And I guess based on the rules, if you get less than 5%, you're removed from future Hall of Fame consideration.
Yes.
Was that heartbreaking?
It was, but at the same time, I thought what I did on the field, and looking at, and again, everybody's in the Hall of Fame. They deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think I had a better career than some pitchers that are in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. I'm not knocking anybody, I'm just telling the truth. So that's the way I looked at it. I say, yeah, I was hurtful. And every year I go down to Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame induction weekend, to sign autographs that whole weekend. And you think about it, it crosses my mind, no doubt about it. But I'm okay with it. I'm came to grips with it. And I got inducted last year into the Negro League Museum thing. So for me, I would love to have shared that with my father if he was here, because he had all the history on all that.
Well, and your grandfather played.
And my grandfather,
in the Negro League, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
And then walking through the museum in Kansas City. So I'm cool with everything I did with the number this year. So